The second book of Esdras, chapter 1.
Bring it out.
The second book of the prophet Esdras, the son of Sarias, the son of Azarias, the son of Hilkias, the son of Sadomius, the son of Sadak, the son of Akatar, the son of Achias, the son of Phinehas, the son of Helah, the son of Amarias, the son of Elzayat, the son of Merimoth, the son of Arna, the son of Ozai, the son of Berith, the son of Abasiah, the son of Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, of the tribe of Levi, which was captain in the land of the Medes, in the reign of Artaxerxes, king of the Persians. And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Go thy way, show my people their sinful deeds, and their children their wickedness, which they have done against me, that they may tell their children, because the sins of their fathers are increased in them. For they have forgotten me, and have offered unto strange gods. Am not I even he that brought them out of the land of Egypt from the house of bondage? But they have provoked me into wrath and despised my counsel. Pull thou off then to have thy head, and cast the evil upon them. For they have not been obedient to my law, but it is a rebellious people. How long shall I forbear them, unto whom I have done so much good? Many kings have I destroyed for their sakes. Pharaoh with his servants and all his power have I smitten down. All the nations have I destroyed before them. And in the east I have scattered the people of two provinces, even Tyrus and Sidon, and have slain all their enemies. Speak thou therefore unto them, saying, Thus saith the Lord, I led you through the sea, and in the beginning gave you a large and a safe passage. I gave you Moses for a leader, and Aaron for a priest. I gave you light in the pillar of fire, and great wonders have I done among you. Yet you have forgotten me, said the Lord. Thus said the Almighty Lord, the quails are as a token for you. I gave you tents for your safeguard, nevertheless you murmured there, and triumph not in my name for the destruction of your enemies. But ever to this day do you yet murmur? Where are the benefits that I have done for you, when you have hungered and thirsted in the wilderness? Did you not cry unto me, saying, Why hast thou brought us into the wilderness to kill us? It had been better for us to serve the Egyptians than to die in the wilderness. Then I had pity upon your mourners, and gave you manna to eat. So did you eat angels' bread. But you were thirsty, did I not cleave the rock? And waters flowed out for your field. For the heat I covered you with the leaves of the tree. I divided among your fruitful land. I cast out the Canaanites, the Pharisees, and the Philistines for you. What shall I yet do more for you, said the Lord? Thus said the Almighty Lord, when you were in the wilderness, in the river of the Amorites, being athirst and blaspheming my name, I gave you not fight for your blasphemies, but cast the tree in the water, and made thee a river sweet. What shall I do unto thee, O Jacob, thou Judah? Wouldest thou not obey me? I will turn me to other nations, and unto those will I give my name, that they may keep my statutes. Seeing you have forsaken me, I will forsake you also. When you desire me to be gracious unto you, I shall have no mercy upon you. Whensoever you shall call upon me, I will not hear you. For you have defiled your hands with blood, and your feet are swift to commit manslaughter. You have not as it were forsaken me, but your own self, said the Lord. Thus said the Almighty Lord, Have I not prayed you as the father his sons, as a mother her daughters, and as a nurse her young babes, that you would be my people, and I should be your God, that you would be my children, and I should be your father? I gathered you together as a hen gathered her chicken under her wings. But now, what shall I do unto you? I will cast you out from my face. When you offer unto me, I will turn my face from you. For your solemn feast days, your new moons, and your circumcision have I forsaken. I sent unto you my servants, the prophets, whom ye have taken and slain, and torn their body in pieces, whose blood I will require of your hand, said the Lord. Thus said the Almighty Lord, Your house is desolate, I will cast you out, as the wind do stop, and your children shall not be fruitful. For they have despised my commandment, and done that thing that is evil before me. Your house will I give to a people that shall come, which not having heard of me, yet shall believe me, to whom I have showed no signs. Yet they shall do that which I have commanded them. They have seen no prophets, yet they should call their sins to remembrance and acknowledge them. I take the witness, the grace of the people to come, whose little ones rejoice in gladness. And though they have not seen me with bodily eyes, yet in spirits they believe the thing that I say. And now, brother, behold, what glory and see the people that coming from the east, unto whom I will give for leaders: Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Oseas, Amos and Micah, Joel, Abdias and Jonas, Nahum and Habakkuk, Sophonias, Aggeus, Zechariah and Malachi, which is called also an angel of the Lord. Shalom. How about Shimmy House, Shabba Rock the Thumb? Second Esdras, chapter 2. Thus saith the Lord, I brought this people out of bondage, and I gave them my commandments by my servants the prophets, whom they would not hear, but despise my counsel. The mother that bare them say unto them, go your way, ye children, for I am a widow and forsaken. I brought you up with gladness, but with sorrow and heaviness have I lost you. For you have sinned before the Lord your God, and done that thing that is evil before him. But what shall I now do unto you? I am a widow and forsaken. Go your way, O my children, and ask mercy of the Lord. As for me, O Father, I call upon thee for a witness over the mother of these children, which would not keep my covenant, that thou bring them to confusion, and their mother to a spoil, that there be no offspring to them. Let them be scattered abroad among the heathen. Let their names be put out of the earth, for they have despised my covenant. Woe be unto thee, assure that thou hidest the uprightness in thee, O thou wicked people. Remember what I did to Sodom and Gomorrah, whose land lieth in clouds of pitch and heaps of ashes. Even so also will I do unto you, to them that hear me not, saith the Almighty Lord. Thus saith the Lord unto Esdras, tell my people that I will give them the kingdom of Jerusalem, which I will have given unto the Israel. Their glory also will I take unto me, and give these the everlasting tabernacles, which I have prepared for them. They shall have had the tree of life for an ointment of sweet savor. They shall neither labor nor be weary. Go, and you shall receive. Pray for a few days unto you, that they may be short. The kingdom is already prepared for you. Watch. Take heaven and earth to witness, for I have broken the evil in pieces, and created the good, for I live, saith the Lord. Mother, embrace thy children, and bring them up with gladness. Make their feet as fast as a pillar, for I have chosen thee, saith the Lord. And those that be dead will I rise up again from their places, and bring them out of the graves, for I have known my name, O Israel. Fear not, thou mother of the children, for I have chosen thee, saith the Lord. For thy help will I send my servants, Esai and Jeremiah, after whose counsel I have sanctified and prepared for thee 12 trees laden with devil's fruit, and as for fountains flowing with milk and honey, and 7 mighty mountains, whereupon they grow roses and lilies, whereby will I fill the children with joy. Do right to the widow, judge the fatherless, heal to the poor, defend the orphan, clothe the naked, heal the broken and weak, laugh not a lame man to scorn, defend the maid, and let the blind man come into the sight of my clearness. Keep the old and young within thy walls, wheresoever thou findest the dead, take them and bury them, and I will give thee the first place of my resurrection. Abide still, O my people, and take thy rest, for thy quietness shall come. Nourish thy children, O thou good nurse, establish their feet. As for thy servants, whom I will give in thee, there should be not one of them perish, for I will require them from among thy number. Be not weary, for when the day of trouble and heaven is coming, others shall weep and be sorrowful, but thou shalt be merry and have abundance. The heathen shall envy thee, but they shall be able to do nothing against thee, saith the Lord. My hand shall cover thee, so that thy children shall not see thy help. Be joyful, O thy mother, with thy children, for I will deliver thee, saith the Lord. Remember thy children that sleep, for I shall bring them out of the sides of the earth, and show mercy unto them. For I am merciful, saith the Lord Almighty. Embrace thy children, until I come and show mercy unto them. For my wells run over, and my grace shall not fail. I, Esdras, receive the charge of the Lord upon my aura, that I should go into Israel. But when I came unto them, they set me at naught, and despised the commandment of the Lord. And therefore I say unto you, O ye heathen, that hear and understand, look for your shepherd, he shall give you everlasting rest. for he is nigh at hand, that shall come in the end of the world. Be ready to the reward of the kingdom, for the everlasting light shall shine upon you forevermore. Flee the shadow of this world, receive the joyfulness of your glory. I testify my Savior openly. Oh, receive the gift that is given you, and be glad, giving thanks unto him that have called you to the heavenly kingdom. Arise up and stand, behold the number of those that be sealed in the feast of the Lord, which are departed from the shadow of the world, and have received glorious garments of the Lord. Take thy number, O Zion, and shut up those that thou art clothed in white, which have fulfilled the law of the Lord. The number of thy children, to whom thou longest for is fulfilled. Beseech the power of the Lord, that thy people, which have been called from the beginning, may be hallowed. I, Esdras, saw upon the Mount Zion a great people, whom I could not number, and they all praised the Lord with songs. And in the midst of them, there was a young man of a high stature, taller than all the rest, and above every one of the heads he had set crown, and was more exalted, which I marveled at greatly. So I asked the angel and said, Sir, what are these? And he answered and said unto me, These be they that have put off the mortal clothing, and put on immortal, and have confessed the name of God, and now they crown and receive palms. Then said I unto the angel, What young person is it that crowned them, and giveth them palms in their hand? So he answered and said unto me, It is the Son of power, whom they have confessed in the world. Then began I greatly to commend them that stood so stiff before the name of the Lord. Then the angel said unto me, Go thy way, and tell thy people what manner of things and how great wonders of the Lord thy God hast thou seen. Right. Second Esdras, chapter 3. Bring it out. In the 13th year, after the ruin of the city, I was in Babylon, and laid trouble upon my bed, and my thoughts came up over my head. For I saw the desolation of Zion, and the wealth of them that dwelt in Babylon, and my spirit was sore and moved, so that I began to speak words full of fear to the Most High, and said, O Lord, who bears rule? Thou spakest at the beginning, when thou didst plant the earth, and thou thyself alone commanded the people, and gave a body unto Adam without soul, which was the workmanship of thy hands, and did breathe into him the breath of life, and he was made living before thee, and thou leddest him into paradise, which thy right hand had planted before thee, ever the earth came forward. And unto him thou gavest commandment to love thy way, which he transgressed, and immediately thou appointed death into him, and his generation, of whom came nations, tribes, people, kindreds, out of number. And every people walked after their own will, and did wonderful things before thee, and despised thy commandments. And again, in process of time, thou broughtest the flood upon those that dwell in the world, and destroyed them. And it came to pass, in every of them that is dealt was to Adam, so was the flood to these. Nevertheless, one of them thou leftest, namely Noah, with his household, of whom came all righteous men and inhabit. Then when they that dwelt upon the earth began to multiply, and had gotten them many children, and were a great people, they began again to be more ungodly than the first. Then when they lived so wickedly before thee, thou didst choose thee a man from among them, whose name was Abraham. Him thou lovest, and unto him only thou showest thy will, and made an everlasting covenant with him, promising him that thou wouldst never forsake his seed. And unto him thou gavest Isaac, and unto Isaac also thou gavest Jacob and Esau. As for Jacob, thou didst choose him to thee, and put by Esau. And so Jacob became a great multitude. And it came to pass that when thou leddest his seed out of Egypt, thou broughtest them up to the Mount Sinai, and bound the heaven. Thou didst set fast the earth, moveth the whole earth, and madest the depth of tremble, and trembles the men of that age. And thy glory went through 4 gates of fire, and of the earthquake, and of a wind of cold, that thou mayest give the law unto thy seed of Jacob, and diligence unto the generation of Israel. And yet tookest thou not away from the wicked heart, that thou might bring forth fruit from them. For the first Adam, bearing the wicked heart, transgressed and was overcome. And so be all they that were born of him. Thus infirmity was made permanent, and the law also in the heart of the people, with the malignity of the root. so that the good departed away, and the evil abode still. So the times passed away, and the years were brought to an end. Then did thou raise up thee a servant called David, whom thou commanded to build the city unto thy name, and to offer incense and oblation unto thee therein. When this was done many years, then they that inhabited the city forsook thee, and in all things, even as Adam and all his generation had done. But they also had a wicked heart, and so thou gavest the city over into the hands of thy enemies and their deeds. Then any better than inhabited Babylon, that they should therein have the dominion over Zion? But when I came thither and had seen them parties without number, then my soul saw many evildoers in this 13th year, so that my heart failed me. For I have seen how thou sufferest them sinning, and hast spared wicked doers, and hast destroyed thy people, and hast preserved thy enemies, and hast not sanctified it. I do not remember how this way may be left. Are they then of Babylon better than they of Zion? Are there any other people that know thee beside Israel? Or what generation has so believed thy covenants of Jacob? And yet their reward appear not, and their labor have no fruit. For I have gone here and there through the heathen, and I see that they flow in wealth, and think not upon our commandments. Weigh thou therefore our wickedness, now in the balance, and there's also that dwell in the world, and so shall thy name nowhere be found but in Israel. Or when was it that they which dwell upon the earth have not sinned in thy sight? Or what people have so kept thy commandments? Thou shalt find that Israel by name have kept thy precepts, but not the heathen. Second Esdras chapter 4, bring it out. And the angel that was sent unto me, whose name was Uriel, gave me an answer and said, Thou heart has gone too far in this world, and thinkest thou to comprehend the way of the Most High? Then said I, Yea, my Lord. And he answered me and said, I am sent to show you 3 ways, and to set forth 3 similitudes before thee. Wherefore, if thou canst declare me one, I will show thee also the way that thou desire to see, and I will show thee from whence the wicked heart cometh. And I said, Tell on, my Lord. Then said he unto me, Go thy way, weigh me the weight of the fire, or measure me the blast of wind, or call me again the day that has passed. Then answered I and said, What man is able to do that thou should have asked such thing of me? And he said unto me, If I would ask thee how great dwellings are in the midst of the sea, or how many springs are in the beginning of the deep, or how many springs are above the firmament, or which are the outgoing of the paradise, peradventure thou wouldst say unto me, I never went down into the deep, nor as yet into hell, neither did I ever climb up into heaven. Nevertheless, now I've asked thee, but only of the fine wind, and of the day wherethrough thou hast passed, and of things that which thou cannot be separated, and ye cannot give me no answer of them. He said moreover to me, Thy own things, and such are grown up with thee, can thou not know? How should thy vessel then be able to comprehend the way of the heights, and the world being outwardly corrupted, to understand the corruption that is evident in my sight? Then said I unto him, It were better that we were not at all, than that we should live still in wickedness and in suffer, and not to know wherefore. He answered me and said, I went into a forest, into a plain, and the trees took counsel and said, Come, let us go and make war against the sea, that it may depart away before us, and that we may make us more woods. The floods of the sea also in like manner took counsel and said, Come, let us go up and subdue the woods of the plain, that there also we may make us another country. Bring it out. The thought of the wood was in vain, for the fire came and consumed it. The thought of the floods of the sea came likewise to naught, for the sand stood up and stomped them. If thou wilt judge now betwixt these two, whom wouldst thou begin to justify, or whom wilt thou condemn? I answered and said, Verily, it is a foolish thought that they both have devised. For the ground is given into the wood, and the sea also have its place to fast floods. Then answered he me and said, Thou hast given the right judgment. But why judgest thou not thyself also? For like as the ground is given into the wood, and the sea to the floods, even so they that dwell upon the earth may understand nothing but that which is upon the earth. And he that dwelleth above the heavens may only understand the things that are above the height of the heavens. Then answered I and said, I beseech thee, O Lord, let me have understanding. For it was not my mind to be curious of the high things, but of such as pass by us daily, namely, wherefore Israel is given up as a reproach to the heathen. And for what cause the people whom thou hast loved is given over unto ungodly nations. And while the law of our forefathers is brought to naught, and the written covenants come to none effect, and we pass away out of the world as grasshoppers, and our life is astonishment and fear, and we are not worthy to obtain mercy. What will he then do unto his name whereby we call? Of these things have I asked. Then answered he me and said, the more thou searchest, the more thou shalt marvel. For the world hastens fast to pass away. It cannot comprehend the things that are promised to the righteous in time to come. For this world is full of unrighteousness and infirmities. But as concerning the things whereof thou askest me, I will tell thee, for the evil is sown, but the destruction thereof is not yet come. And therefore, that which is sown be not turned upside down. And if the place where the evil is sown pass not away, they cannot yet come that it is sown with good. For the grain of evil seed have been sown in the heart of Adam from the beginning. And how much ungodliness has it brought up upon this time? And how much shall it yet bring forth until the time of threshing come? Ponder now by thyself how great fruit of wickedness the grain of evil seed hath brought forth. And when the ears should be cut down, which are without number, how great a floor shall they fill? Then I answered and said, how? And when shall these things come to pass? Wherefore are our years few and evil? And he answered me saying, do not thou hasten above the Most High? For thou hasten in vain to be above him, for thou hast much exceeded. Do not the souls also of the righteous ask question of these things in their chamber, saying, how long shall I hope in this fashion? When cometh the fruit of the floor of our reward? And unto these things Uriel the archangel gave them answer and said, even when the number of the seas is filled in you, for he hath weighed the world in the balance. By measure had he measured the times, and by number had he measured the time. And he do not move nor stir them until the said measure be fulfilled. Then answered I and said, O Lord, that bears rule, even we all are full of impiety, and for our sakes pre-adventure, it is that the floors of the righteous are not filled, because of the sins of them that dwell upon the earth. So he answered me and said, go thy way to a woman with child, and ask of her, will she have fulfilled her 9 months, if her womb may keep the birth any longer within her? Then said I, no, Lord, that can she not. And he said unto me, in the grave the chambers of the souls are like the womb of a woman. For like as a woman that travaileth, make a haste to escape the necessity of her travail, even so do these places haste to deliver those things that are committed unto them. From the beginning, look, what thou desire to see, it shall be showed thee. Then answered I and said, if I have found favor in thy sight, and if it be possible, and if I be meet therefore, show me then whether there be more to come than is past, or more to pass that is to come. What is past I know, but what is for to come I know not. And he said unto me, stand up upon the right side, and I shall expound the similitude unto thee. So I stood and saw, and behold, the hot burning oven passed by before me. And it happened that when the flame was gone by, I looked, and behold, the smoke remained still. After this passed by before me a watery cloud, and sent down much rain with the storm. And when the stormy rain was past, the drops remained still. Then said he unto me, consider with thyself, as the rain is more than the drops, and as the fire is greater than the smoke. But the drops and the smoke remain behind, so the quantity which surpassed did more exceed. Then I prayed and said, may I live, thinkest thou, until the time, or what shall happen in those days? He answered me and said, as for the tokens whereof thou asked me, I may tell thee of them in part, but as touching thy life, I am not sent to show thee, for I do not know it. Second Esdras, chapter 5. Bring it out. Nevertheless, as concerning the tokens, behold, the day shall come, the day which dwell upon the earth shall be taken in a great number, and the way of truth shall be hidden. And the land shall be barren of faith. Iniquity shall be increased above that which thou see, or that thou hast heard long ago. And the land that thou seest now to have root, shall thou see wasted suddenly. But if the Most High granted thee to live, thou shalt see after the third trumpet that the sun shall suddenly shine again in the night, and the moon thrice in the day. And blood shall drop out of the wood, and the stone shall have give his voice, and the people shall be troubled. And even he shall rule whom they look not for that dwell upon the earth. And the fowl shall take their flight away together, and the side of mighty sea shall cast out fish, and make a noise in the night, which many have not known, but they shall all hear the voice thereof. There should be a confusion also in many places, and the fire shall be all sent out again, and the wild beasts shall change their places, and ministers woman shall bring forth monsters, and salt water shall be fountain of sweet, and all friends shall destroy one another. Then shall wit hide itself, and understanding withdraw itself into the secret chambers, and shall be sought many, and ye shall not be found. Then shall unrighteousness and incontinency be multiplied upon the earth. One land also shall ask another, and say his righteousness, the make of a man righteous gone through thee? And it shall say no. At the same time shall men hope, but nothing obtain. They shall labor, but their ways shall not prosper. To show thee such tokens I lead. And if thou we pray again, and weep as now, and fast 7 days, thou shalt hear yet greater things. Then I'll wait. And then in the extreme fearfulness went through all my body, and my mind was troubled, so that it faint. So that the angel that was come to talk with me held me, comforted me, and set me up on my feet. And in the second night it came to pass that so late there, the captain of the people came unto me saying, where hast thou been? And why is thy countenance so heavy? Bring it out. Knowest thou not that Israel is committed into thee in the land of their captivity? Up then, eat bread, and forsake us not, as the shepherd that leaveth his flock in the hands of the cruel wolves. Then said I unto him, go thy ways from me, and come not nigh me. And he heard what I said, and he went from me. And so I fasted 7 days, mourning and weeping, like as Uriel the angel commanded me. After 7 days, so it was that the thoughts of my heart were very grievous unto me, and my soul recovered the spirit of understanding. And I began to talk with the Most High again, and said, O my Lord, the bears rule over every wood of the earth, and over all the trees thereof. Thou hast chosen thee only one vine, in all the lands of the whole world thou hast chosen thee one pick, and of all the flowers thereof one lily, and of all the depths of the sea thou hast filled thee one river, and of all the built cities thou hast hollowed Zion unto thyself, and of all the fowls that are created thou hast named thee one dove, and of all the cattle that are made thou hast provided thee one sheep, and among all the multitude of people thou hast gotten thee one peep. And unto this people whom thou lovest thou gave a law that is approved of all. And now, O Lord, why hast thou given this one people over into many, and upon one roof hast thou prepared others? And why hast thou scattered the one only people among many? And they which did gainsay thy promises, and believe not thy covenants, have trodden them down. If thou did so much hate thy people, yet shouldst thou punish them with thy own hands. Now when I have spoken these words, the angel that came to me the night afore was sent unto me, and he said unto me, hear me, and I will instruct thee. Hearken to the thing that I say, and I shall tell thee more. And I said, speak on, my Lord. Then he said unto me, thou art so trouble in mind for Israel's sake. Lovest thou that people better than he that made them? And I said, no, Lord, but of a very grief have I spoken. For my reins pain me in every hour, while I labor to comprehend the way of the Most High, and to seek out part of his judgment. And he said unto me, thou cannot. And I said, wherefore, Lord? Whereunto was I born in? And why was not my mother's womb in my grave, that I might have not seen the travail of Jacob, and the wearisome toil of the stock of Israel? And he said unto me, number me the things that are not yet come, gather me together the drops that are scattered abroad, make me the flowers green again that are withered, open me the place that are closed, and bring me forth the winds that in them are shut up. Show me the image of a voice, and then will I declare to thee the things that thou labest to know. And I said, O Lord, the bears rule, who may know these things, but he that hath not his dwelling with men. As for me, I am unwise. How may I then speak of things whereof thou hast asked me? Then said he unto me, like as thou could not do none of these things that I have spoken of, even so can thou not find out my judgment, or in the end, the love that I have promised unto my people. And I said, behold, O Lord, yet art thou not unto me, that be reversed to the end. And what shall they do that have been before me? Or we that be now, or they shall come after us? And he said unto me, I will liken my judgment into a ring, like as there is no slackness of the last, even so there is no swiftness of the first. So I answered and said, couldst thou not make those things that have been made, and be now, and that they are for to come at once? And thou mightest show thy judgment the sooner. Then answered he me and said, the creature may not haste above the maker, neither may the world hold them at once that shall be created therein. And I said, as thou hast said unto thy servant, that thou wouldst give life to all, hast given life at once to the creature that hast thou created, and the creature bears. Even so it may now also bear them that now present at once. And he said unto me, ask the womb of a woman, and say unto her, if thou bringest forth children, why dost thou not eat together, but one after another? Pray her therefore to bring forth 10 children at once. And I said she could not, but must do it by distance of time. Then said he unto me, even so I have given the womb of the earth to those that be sown in it, in their time. For like as a young child may not bring forth the things that belong to the age, even so have I disposed the world which I created. And I asked and said, seeing thou hast not given me the way, I will proceed to speak before thee. For our mother, of whom thou hast told me that she is young, drawing now nigh unto age. He answered me and said, ask a woman to bear children, and she shall tell thee, saying to her, wherefore are they not whom thou hast now brought forth like those that were before, but least of stature? And she shall answer thee, they that be born in the strength of youth are the one fashion, and they that are born in time of age, when the womb faileth, or otherwise. Consider thou therefore also how thou ye are least of statues, that those that were before you, and so they are they that come after you less than ye, as the creatures which now begin to be old, and have passed over the strength of youth. Then said I, Lord, I beseech thee, if I have found favor in thy sight, show thy servant by whom thou hast visited thy creature. Check. Yes, sir. Shalom. Second Esdras chapter 6. Bring it out. And he said unto me, in the beginning, when the earth was made, before the borders of the world stood, or even the winds blew, before it thundered and lightning, or even the foundations of paradise were laid, before the fair flowers seen, or even the movable powers were established, before the innumerable multitude of angels were gathered together, or even the heights of the air was lifted up, before the measures of the firmament was named, or even the chimneys of Zion were high, and ere the present years were sought out, or even the inventions of them now said would turn, before they were sealed that had gathered faith for a treasure. Then did I consider these things, and they all were made through me alone, and through none other. By me also they shall be ended, and by none other. Then answered I and said, what shall be the part and the sunder of the time? Or when shall it be the end of the first, and the beginning of that followed? He said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born to him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followed. The hand of man is betwixt the heel and the hand. Other question, Esdras asked thou not? I answered then and said, O Lord that bears rule, if I have found favor in thy sight, I beseech thee, show thy servant the end of thy tokens. Where else should thou show us me, pardon the last night? So he answered and said unto me, stand up on thy feet, and hear a mighty silent voice, and it should be as it were a great motion. But the grace without standing should not be moved. And therefore, when it speaks, be not afraid, for the word is of the end, and the foundation of the earth is understood. And why? Because the speech of these that tremble and is moved, for it knoweth that the end of these things must be changed. And it happened. And when I had heard it, I stood up on my feet and hearkened, and behold, there was a voice that spake, and the sound of it was like the sound of many waters. And it said, behold, the days come that I will begin to draw nigh, and to visit them that dwell upon the earth, and will begin to make inquision of them, what they be that have hurt unjustly with their unrighteousness, and with the affliction of Zion shall be fulfilled. And when the world that shall begin to vanish away shall be finished, then will I show these tokens. The book shall be opened before the firmament, and they shall see all together. The children of a year old shall speak with their voice. The woman with child shall bring forth untimely children of 3 or 4 months old, and they shall live and be raised up. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. The full storehouse shall suddenly be found empty, and the trumpet shall be sound, and with which every man hear it, they shall be suddenly afraid. And at that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand and fill with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountain shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. Whosoever remaineth from all these that I have told thee shall escape and see my salvation and the end of your world. And the men that are received shall see it, who have not tasted death from their birth. And the heart of the inhabitant shall be changed and turned to another meaning, for evil shall be put out, and deceit shall be quenched. As for faith, it shall flourish, corruption shall be overcome, and the truth, which hath been so long without fruit, shall be declared. And when he talked with me, behold, I looked by little and little upon him before whom I stood, and these words said he unto me, I am come to show thee the time of the night to come. If thou wilt pray yet more and fast 7 days again, I shall tell thee greater things by day that I ever heard. For thy voice is heard before the Most High. For the mighty have seen thy righteous dealings. He has seen also the chastity which thou hast had, even since thou youth. And therefore hath he sent me to show thee all these things, and to say unto thee, be of good comfort and fear not. Hasten not with the times that are past, to think vain things, that thou mayest not hasten from the latter time. And it came to pass after this, that I wept again, and fasted 7 days in like manner, that I might fulfill the 3 weeks which he told me. And in the 8th night was my heart vexed within me again, and I began to speak before the Most High. For my spirit was greatly set on fire, and my soul was in distress. And I said, O Lord, thou speakest from the beginning of the creation, even the first day, and said as thus, let heaven and earth be made. And thy word was a perfect word. And then was the spirit, and darkness, and silence were upon every side. The sound of man's voice was not yet formed. Then commanded thou the fair light to come forth out of thy treasure, that thy work might appear. Upon the 2nd day thou madest the spirit of the firmament, and commanded it to part asunder, and to make a division betwixt the waters, and the one part might go up, and the other part remain beneath. Upon the 3rd day thou didst command that the waters should be gathered in the 7th part of the earth. 6 parts have thou dried up and kept them, to the intent that of these some being planted of God, until it might serve thee. For as soon as thy word went forth, the word was made, for immediately there was a great and innumerable fruit, and many are devil's pleasures for the taste, and flowers of unchangeable color, and odors of wonderful smell. And this was done the 3rd day. Upon the 4th day thou commanded that the sun should shine, and the moon give her light, and the stars should be made in order, and gavest them in charge to do service unto man that was to be made. Upon the 5th day thou saidest unto the 7th part, where the waters were gathered, it should be for the living creatures, fowls, fishes. And so it came to pass, for the dawn water and without light brought forth living things at the commandment of God, that all people might praise thy wondrous works. Then didst thou ordain 2 living creatures, the one thou callest Enoch, and the other Leviathan, and didst separate the one from the other. For the 7th part, namely, where the waters were gathered together, might not hold them both. Unto Enoch thou gavest 1 part, which was dried up the 3rd day. He should dwell in the same part, wherein are 1,000 hills. But unto Leviathan thou gavest the 7th part, namely, the moist, and hast kept him to be devoured, of whom thou will and wins. Upon the 6th day thou gavest commandment unto the earth, that before thee it should bring forth beasts, cattle, creeping things, and after these Adam also, whom thou madest Lord over all the creatures. Of him come we all, and the people also whom thou hast chosen. All this have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou madest the world for our sake. As for the other people, which also come of Adam, thou hast said that they are nothing, but be like unto spittle. It has likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel. And now, O Lord, behold, these heathen, which have ever been reputed as nothing, have begun to be lords over us and to devour us. But we are thy people, whom thou hast called our firstborn, thou only begotten, and the fervent lover are given into their hands. If the world now be made for our sakes, why do we not possess an inheritance with the world? How long shall this endure?
A luxury.
Second Esdras chapter 7. Bring it out. When I had made an end of speaking these words, there was sent unto me the angel which had sent unto me the night before. And he said unto me, Up, Esdras, and hear the word that I am come to tell thee. And I said, Speak on, my God. Then said he unto me, The sea is set in a wide place, that it might be deep and great. But put the case, the entrance were narrow, and like the river. Who then could go into a sea to look upon it, and to rule it? If he went not through the narrow, how could he come into the broad? There is also another thing. A city is built and set up on a broad field, and is full of all good things. The entrance thereof is narrow, and is set in a dangerous place to fall, like as if it was of a fire on the right hand, and on the left hand a deep water, and only one path between them both, even between the fire and the water, so small that they could not be one man go through there at once. If this city now were given into a man for an inheritance, if he never should pass the danger set before it, how shall he receive his inheritance? Bring it out. And I said, It is so, Lord. Then said he unto me, Even so also was Israel's portion, because for their sakes I made the world. And when Adam transgressed my statutes, then was decreed that now is done. Then were the entrance of this world made narrow, full of sorrow and travail. But they are but few and evil, full of pearls and very painful. For the entrances of the elders world were wide and short, and brought immortal fruit. If then they that live labor not to enter these straight and vain things, then can never receive those that laid up for them. Now therefore, with this quietness, thou thyself, seeing thou art but a corruptible man, and while thou move, where is thou but mortal? Why hast thou not considered in thy mind this thing that is to come, rather than that which is present? Then answered I and said, O Lord that bears rule, thou hast ordained in law that the righteous should inherit these things, but that the ungodly should perish. Nevertheless, the righteous shall suffer straight things, and hope for wide. For they that have done wickedly have suffered the straight things, and yet shall not see the wide. And he said unto me, There is no judge above God, and none that have understanding above the highest. For there be many that perish in this life, because they despise the law of God that is set before them. For God hath given straight commandments to such as came, what they should do to live, even as they came, and what they should observe to avoid punishment. Nevertheless, they were not obedient unto him, but spake against him, and imagined vain things, and deceived themselves by their wicked deeds. And said of the Most High that he is not, and knew not his ways. But his law have they despised, and denied his covenant, and his statute have they not been faithful, and have not performed his works. And therefore, Esdras, for the empty are empty things, and for the full are full things. Behold, the time shall come that these tokens, which I have told thee, shall come to pass, and the bride shall appear, and she coming forth shall be seen, that now is withdrawn from the earth. Whosoever is delivered from the foresaid evil shall see my wonders. For my son, Yahweh shall be revealed with those that be with him, and they that shall remain will rejoice with him 400 years. And after these years shall my son Hamashiach die, and all men that have life in the world shall be turned to the old silent 7 days, like as in the former judgment, so that no man shall remain. And after 7 days, the world that yet awaketh not shall be raised up, and that shall die that is corrupt, and the earth shall restore those that are asleep in her. And so shall the dust those that dwell in silence, and the secret place shall deliver those souls that were committed unto them. And the Most High shall appear into the seat of judgment, and misery shall pass away, and the long suffering shall have an end. But judgment only shall remain, truth shall stand, and faith shall wax strong, and the work shall follow, and the reward shall be shown, and the good deeds shall be of force, and wicked deeds shall bear no rule. Then said I, Abraham prayed first for the Sodomites, and Moses for the fathers that sinned in the wilderness, and Jesus after him for Israel in the time of Achan, and Samuel and David for the destruction, and Solomon for them that should come to the sanctuary, and Elias for those that receive rain, and for the dead that he might live, and Ezekiah for the people in the time of Sennacherib, and many for many. Even so now, sin corruption is grown up, and wickedness increased, and the righteousness are prayed for the ungodly. Wherefore shall it not be so now also? He answered me and said, this present life is not the end, where much glory do abide. Therefore have they prayed for the weak, but the day of doom should be the end of this time, and the beginning of the immortality for to come, wherein corruption is past, intemperance is at its end, infidelity is cut off, righteousness is grown, and truth is sprung up. Then shall no man be able to save him that is destroyed, nor to oppress him that have gotten the victory. I answered then and said, this is my first and last saying, that it had been better not to have given the earth unto Adam, or else when it was given him to have restrained him from sinning. For what profit is it for men now, in this present time, to live in heaviness, and after death, to look for punishment? O thou Adam, what hast thou done? For though it was thou that sinned, thou art not fallen alone, but we all that come of thee. For what profit is it unto us, if there be promised us an immortal time, whereas we have done the work that bring death, and that there is promised us an everlasting hope, whereas ourselves, being most wicked, are made vain, and they that are laid up for us dwelling of health and safety, whereas we have lived wickedly, and that the glory of the Most High is kept to defend them which have led the weary life, whereas we have walked in the most wicked ways of all, and that there should be show a paradise, whose fruit endure forever, wherein is secured and let us, since we shall not enter into it. For we have walked in unpleasant places, and that the face of them which have used ashes shall shine above the stars, whereas our face shall be blacker than darkness. For while we live and committed iniquity, we consider not that we should begin to suffer for it after death. Then answered he me and said, this is the condition of the battle, which man that is born upon the earth shall fight, that if he be overcome, he shall suffer, as thou hast said. But if he get the victory, he shall receive the things that I saw. For this is the life whereof Moses spake to the people while he lived, saying, choose thee life, that thou mayest live. Nevertheless, they believe not him, nor yet the prophets after him, no, nor me which have spoken unto them, that there should not be such heaviness in their destruction, as shall be joy over them that are persuaded to salvation. I answered then and said, I know, Lord, that the Most High is called merciful, and that he have mercy upon them which are not yet come into the world, and upon those also that turn to his law, and that he is patient and long-suffering those that have sinned and his creatures, and that he is bountiful, for he is ready to give where is needed, and that he is of a great mercy, for he multiplied more and more mercy to them that are present and that are past, and also to them which are to come. For if he shall not multiply his mercies, the world would not continue with them in that inherit therein, and he pardoned. For if he did not sow of his goodness, that they which have committed iniquities might be eased of them, the 10,000 part of men should not remain living and being judged, if he should not forgive them that are cured with this word, and put out the multitude of contentions. There should be very few left pre-adventure in an innumerable multitude. Shalom, all praise. Esdras, chapter 8. Get out. And he answered me saying, the Most High has made this world for many, but the world to come for few. I will tell you a similitude, Esdras, as when thou askest the earth, it shall say unto thee, That it giveth much mud whereof earth vessels are made, but little dust, the gold cometh up. Even so is the course of this present world. There be many created, but few shall be saved. So answer I and said, swallow it down, O my soul, understand it, and devour wisdom. For thou hast agreed to give ear, and are willing to prophesy. For thou hast no longer space that only to live, O Lord. If thou suffer not thy servant, that we may pray before thee, and thou give us seed to our heart, and cause it to our understanding, that there may come the first fruit of it. How shall each man live that is corrupt, who beareth the place of a man? For thou art alone, and we are all one workmanship of thy hand, like as thou hast said. For when the body is fashioned, now in the mother's womb, and thou give it members, thy creature is preserved in fire and water, and thou amongst does thy workmanship endure thy creature, which is created in her. But that which keepeth and is kept shall both be preserved. And when the time cometh, the womb preserved, deliver up the thing that grew in it. For thou hast commanded out of the parts of the body, that is to say, out of the breast, milk to be given, which is the fruit of the breast, that the thing which is fashioned may be nourished for a time, till thou dispose it into the mercy. Thou broughtest it up with the righteousness, and nurture it in the law, and reformeth it with thy judgment. And thou shalt mortify as thou creature, and quicken it as thou work. If therefore thou shalt destroy him, which with so great labor was fashioned, it is an easy thing to be ordained by thy commandment, that the thing which was made might be preserved. Now therefore, Lord, I will speak, touching man in general. Thou knowest best, but touching thy people, for whose sake I am sorry, and for thy inheritance, for whom cause I mourn, and for Israel, for whom I am heavy, and for Jacob, for whose sake I am troubled. Therefore will I begin to pray before thee, for myself and for them. For I see the falls of us that dwell in the land, but I have heard the swiftness of the judge which is to come. Therefore hear my voice and understand my words, and I shall speak before thee. This is the beginning of the words of Esdras, before he was taken up. And I said, O Lord, thou that dwellest in everlastingness, which beholdeth from above things in the heaven and in the air, whose throne is inestimable, whose glory may not be comprehended, before whom the hosts of the angels stand with trembling, whose service is conversant in wind and fire, whose word is true and saying constant, whose commandment is strong and ordinance fearful, who looketh dried up the depths, and indignation making the mountains to melt away with the true witness. Oh, hear the prayer of thy servant, and give ear to the petition of thy creature. For while I live, I will speak, and so long as I have understanding, I will answer. Oh, look not upon the sins of thy people, but on them which serve thee in truth. Regard not the wicked invention of the heathen, but the desire of those, and keep thy testimony in affliction. Think not upon those that have walked faintly before thee, but remember them which according to thy will have known thy fear. Let it not be thy will to destroy them which have lived like beasts, but to look upon them that have clearly taught the law. Take thou no indignation at them which are deemed worse than beasts, but love them that always put their trust in thy righteousness and glory. For we are not fall through language in such disease, but because of our sins thou shalt be called merciful. For if thou have a desire to have mercy upon us, thou shalt be called merciful to us, namely, that have no works of righteousness. For the just, which have been many good works laid upon thee, shall out of their own deeds receive reward. For what is a man that thou shouldst take this pleasure in him? Or what is a corruptible generation that thou shouldst be so bitter towards it? For in truth there is no man among them that be born, but he that deal wickedly, and among the faithful there is none which have not done amiss. For in this, O Lord, thy righteousness and thy goodness shall be declared. If thou be merciful unto them which have not the confidence of good works, then answered he me and said, some things have thou spoken aright, and according to thy words it shall be. For indeed I would not think on the disposition of them which have sinned before death, before judgment, before destruction, but I will rejoice over the disposition of the righteous. And I will remember also the pilgrimage and the salvation and the reward that they shall have. Like as I have spoken now, so shall it come to pass. For as the husband soweth much seed upon the ground, and planted many trees, and yet the thing that is sown good in his season come not up, neither do all that is planted take root. Even so is it of them that are sown in this world, that they not all be saved. I answered then and said, if I have found grace, let me speak. Like as the husband seeds perish, if it come up not, and receive not the rain in due season. Or if they come to much rain and corrupt it, even so perish man also, which is formed without hands, and is called thy own image, because thou art like unto him. For whose sake thou hast made all things, and liken him unto the husband seed. Be not wroth with us, but spare thy people, and have mercy upon thy own inheritance. For thou art merciful unto thy creature. Then answered he me and said, things present are for the present, and things to come for such as to be to come. For thou comest far short, and thou shouldst be able to love my creature more than I. But I have all times drawn nigh unto thee, and unto it, but never in the unrighteousness. In this also, thou art marvelous before the Most High, and that thou hast humbled thyself, as it becometh thee, and thou hast judged thyself, worthy to be much glorified among the righteous. For many great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter times shall dwell in the world, because they have walked in great pride. Understand thou for thyself, and seek out the glory, for as such as be like thee. For unto you is paradise open, the tree of life is planted, the time to come is prepared, plenteousness is made ready, city is built, and rest is allowed. Yea, perfect goodness and wisdom, the root of evil is sealed up from you. Wickedness and the mark is hid from you, and corruption is fled into hell, to be forgotten. Sorrows are past, and in the end it showed the treasure of immortality. And therefore, ask thou no more questions concerning the multitude of them that perish. For when they have taken liberty, they despise the Most High, those scorn of the law, and forsook his ways. Moreover, they have trodden down his righteousness, and said in their heart that there is no God. Yea, and that knowing that they must die, for as the things aforesaid shall receive you, so thirst and pain are prepared for them. For it was not his will that men should come to naught, but they which should be created have defiled the name of him that made them, and were unthankful unto him which prepared life for them. And therefore is my judgment now at hand. These things have I not shown unto all men, but unto thee, and a few like thee. Then answered I and said, behold, O Lord, now hast thou showed me the multitude of the wonders which thou would begin to do in the last time. But at what time thou hast not showed me. Second Esdras chapter 9. Bring it out. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Bring it out. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like as all that is made in the world hath the beginning and the end, and the end is manifest, even so the times also of the highest have plain beginning in wonders and powerful works, and enders in effects and signs. And everyone that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works, and by faith whereby ye have believed, shall be preserved from the said perils, and shall see my salvation in my land and within my borders. For I have sanctified them for me from the beginning. Then shall they be in pitiful case, which now have abused my ways, and they that have cast them away despitefully shall dwell in torment. For such as in their life have received benefits and have not known me, and they that have lost my law, while they had yet liberty, and when this yet place of repentance was open unto them, understood not, but despised it. The same must know it after death by pain. And therefore be thou not curious how the ungodly shall be punished, and when, but inquire how the righteous shall be saved. Who the world is, and for whom the world is created. Then answer I and said, I have said before, and now do speak, and will speak it also hereafter, that there be many more of them which perish than of them which shall be saved. Like as a wave is greater than a drop. And he answered me saying, like as the field is, so is also the sea. As the flowers be, such are the colors also. Such as the workman is, such also is the work. And as the husband is himself, so is his husbandry also. For it was the time of the world. And now when I prepare the world, which was yet made, even for them to dwell in that now live, no man shall speak against me. For then everyone obey. But now the manners of them which are created in this world that is made are corrupted by a perpetual seed, and by a law which is unsearchable rid themselves. So I considered the world, and behold, there was peril because of the devices that were coming to it. And I saw and spared it greatly, and and have kept me a grace of the cluster, and the plant of a great people. Let the multitude perish then, which was born in vain, and let my grape be kept, and my plant. For with great labor have I made it perfect. Nevertheless, if thou wilt cease yet 7 more days, but thou shalt not fast in them, but go up into a field of flowers, where no house is built, and eat only the flowers of the field. Taste no flesh, drink no wine, but eat flowers only, and pray unto the highest continually. Then I will come and talk with thee. So I went by my way into the field, which is called Esdras, like as he commanded me. And there I sat among the flowers, and did eat of the herbs of the field, and the meat of the same satisfied me. After 7 days, I sat up on the grass, and my heart was vexed within me, like as before. And I opened my mouth and began to talk before the Most High, and said, O Lord, thou that showest thyself unto us, thou wilt show it to our fathers in the wilderness, in the place where no man threaded, in a bare place, when they came out of Egypt. And thou spakest, saying, Hear me, O Israel, and mark my words, thou seed of Jacob. For behold, I sow my law in you, and it shall bring fruit in you, and you shall be honored in it forever. But our fathers, which received the law, kept it not, and observed not thy ordinances. And though the fruit of thy law did not perish, neither could it, for it was thine. Yet they that received it perished, because they kept not the thing that was sown in them. And lo, it is a custom, when the ground had received seed, or the sea a ship, or any vessel meat or drink, that they being perished, when it was sown or cast into, that the thing also was sown or cast therein or received do perish, and remaineth not with us. But with us it had not happened so. For we that have received the law perished by sin, and our heart also which received it. Notwithstanding, the law perisheth not, but remain in his force. And when I spake these things in my heart, I looked back with my eyes, and upon the right side I saw a woman, and behold, she mourned and wept with a loud voice, and was much grieved in heart, and her clothes were rent, and she had ashes upon her head. Then let out my thoughts go that I was in, and turned me into her, and said unto her, Wherefore weepest thou? Why art thou so grieved in thy mind? And she said unto me, Sir, let me alone, that I may bewail myself, and add unto my sorrow, for I am sore vexed in mind, and brought very low. And I said unto her, What a lie thee, tell me. She said unto me, I thy servant have been barren, and had no child, though I had a husband 30 years. In those 30 years I did nothing else day and night, and every hour, but make my prayer to the highest. Out of 30 years God heard me, thou handmaid, looked upon my misery, considered my trouble, and gave me a son, and I was very glad of him. So was my husband also, and all my neighbors, and we gave great honor unto the Almighty. And I nourished him with great travail. So when he grew up and came to the time that he should have a wife, and I made the feast. Shalom. Second Esdras chapter 10. Bring it out. And so it came to pass that when my son was entered into his wedding chamber, he fell down and died. Then we all overthrew the lights, and all my neighbors rose up to comfort me. So I took my rest until the second day at night. And it came to pass, when they had all left off to comfort me, to the end that I might be quiet. Then rose I up by night, and fled, and came hither into this field. And as thou seest, I do not purpose not to return into the city, but here to stay, and neither to eat nor drink, but continually to mourn and fast until I die. Then left I the meditation wherein I was, and spake to her in anger, saying, Thou foolish woman, above all others, seest thou not our mourning? And what happened unto us? How that Zion, our mother, is full of all heaviness, and much humble, mourning very sore. And now, seeing we all mourn and are sad, for we are all in heaviness, art thou grieved for one son? Bring it out. For ask the earth, and she shall tell thee that it is she that ought to mourn for the fall of so many that grow up on her. For out of her came all at the first, and out of her shall all others come. And behold, they walk almost into destruction, and a multitude of them is utterly rooted out. Who then should make more mourning than she that has lost such great a multitude? And not thou, which are sorry but for one. But if thou sayest unto me, my lamentation is not like the earth, because I have lost the fruit of my womb, which I brought forth with pain and bare it with sorrows. But the earth not so, for the multitude present in it, according to the course of the earth is gone, as it came, then sigh unto thee, like as thou hast brought forth with labor. Even so the earth also hath given her fruits, namely man, even since the beginning unto him that made her. Now therefore keep thy sorrow to thyself, and bear with a good courage that which hath befallen thee. For if thou shalt acknowledge the determination of God to be just, thou shalt both receive thy son in time, and shalt be commended among women. Go thy way then to the city, to thy husband. And she shall say unto me, that I would not do. I would not go into the city, for here will I die. So I proceeded to speak farther unto her, and said, do not so, but be counseled by me. For how many are the adversities of Zion? Be confident in regard of the sorrow of Jerusalem. For thou seest that our sanctuary is laid waste, our altar broken down, our temple destroyed, our psaltery is laid on the ground, our song is put to silence, our rejoicing is at an end, the light of our candlestick is put out, the ark of our covenant is spoiled, our holy things are defiled, and the name that is called upon us is almost profane. Our children are put to shame, our priests are burnt, our Levites are gone into captivity, our virgins are defiled, and our wives ravished. Our righteous men carried away, our little ones destroyed. Our young men are brought to bondage, and our strong men are become weak. And which is the greatest of all? The seal of Zion have now lost her honor, for she is delivered into the hands of them that hate us. And therefore shake off thou heaviness, and put away the multitude of sorrows, that the mighty may be merciful unto thee again, and the high shall give thee rest and ease from thy labor. And it came to pass, while I was talking with her, behold, her face upon a sudden shine exceedingly, her countenance glistened, so that I was afraid of her, and mused what it might be. And behold, suddenly she made a great cry, very fearful, so that the earth shook at the noise of the woman. And I looked, and behold, the woman appeared unto me no more. But there was a city built, and a large place showed itself from the foundation. Then was I afraid, and cried with a loud voice and said, where is Uriel the angel, who came into me at the first? For he has caused me to fall into many trances, and my end is turned into corruption, and my prayer to rebuke. And as I was speaking these words, behold, he came into me, and looked upon me. And lo, I laid as one that had been dead, and my understanding was taken from me. And he took me by the right hand, and comforted me, and set me up on my feet, and said unto me, what alive thee? And thou art so disquiet, and why dost thou understand the troubles, and the thoughts of thy heart? And I said, because thou hast forsaken me, and yet I did according to thy words. And I went into the field, and lo, I have seen, and yet seen, that I am not able to express. Then he said unto me, stand up manfully, and I will advise thee. Then said I, speak on my Lord and me, only forsake me not, lest I die frustrated of my hope. For I have seen that I knew not, and hear that I do not know. Or is my scent deceived, or my soul a dream? Now therefore I beseech thee, that thou wilt show thy servant of this vision. He answered me then and said, hear me, and I will inform thee, and tell thee wherefore thou art afraid. For the highest will reveal many secret things unto thee. Bring it out. He has seen that thy way is right, but thou that thou sowest continually for thy people, and make a great lamentation for Zion. This therefore is the meaning of the vision which thou hast lately saw. Bring it out. Thou sawest a woman mourning, and thou beginnest to comfort her. But now seest thou the likeness of the woman no more, but there appeared unto thee a city built, and where she told thee of the death of her son. This is the solution. This woman whom thou sawest is Zion, and where she is said unto thee, even whom thou seest as the city built. Whereas I say, she said unto thee that she hath been 30 years barren. Those are the 30 years wherein there was no offering made in her. But after 30 years, Solomon built the city and offered offerings, and then buried the barren a son. And whereas she told thee that she nourished him with labor, that was the dwelling in Jerusalem. But whereas she said unto thee that my son coming into his marriage chamber happened to have a fall and died, this was the destruction that came to Jerusalem. And behold, thou sawest her likeness, and because she mourned for her son, thou beginnest to comfort her. And of these things which have chanced, these are to be open unto thee. For now the Most High seeth that thou art grieved unfeignedly, and suffered from the whole heart for her. So had he showed thee the brightness of her glory and the calmness of her beauty. And therefore I bade thee remain in the field where no house was built, for I know the highest will show this unto thee. Therefore I commanded thee to go unto the field where no foundation of any building was. For in the place wherein the highest beginneth to show his city, there can no man's building be able to stand. And therefore fear not, let not thy heart be afraid, but go thy way in and see the beauty and greatness of the building, as much as thy eyes be able to see. And then shall thou hear as much as thy eyes may comprehend. For thou art blessed above many others, and are called with the highest, and so are but few. But tomorrow at night thou shalt remain here, and so shall the highest show thee visions of the high things which the Most High will do unto them that dwell upon the earth in the last days. So I slept that night and another, like as he commanded me. Second Esdras chapter 11. Bring it out. Then saw I a dream, and behold, there came up from the sea an eagle, which had 12 feathered wings and 3 heads. And I saw, and behold, she spread her wings over all the earth, and all the winds of the air blew on her, and were gathered together. And I beheld, and out of her feathers grew there other contrary wings, and they became little feathers and small, but her heads were at rest. The head in the midst was greater than the other, yet rested it with the residue. Moreover, I beheld, and lo, the eagle flew with her feathers, and reigned upon the earth, and over them that dwelt therein. And I saw that all things under heaven were subject unto her, and no man spake against her, no, not one creature upon the earth. And I beheld, and lo, the eagle rose upon her talents, and spake to her feathers, saying, watch not all at once, sleep every one in his own place, and watch by course, but let the heads be preserved for the last. And I beheld, and lo, the voice went not out of her heads, but from the midst of her body. And I numbered her contrary feathers, and behold, there were 8 of them. And I looked, and behold, on the right side there arose one feather, and reigned over all the earth. And so it was, that when it rained, the end of it came, and the place thereof appeared no more. So the next following stood up, and reigned, and had a great time. And it happened, that when it rained, the end of it came also, like as the first, so it appeared no more. Then came there a voice unto me and said, hear thou that hast one rule over the earth so long. This I say unto thee, behold, thou beginnest to appear no more. There shall none after thee attain unto thy time, neither unto the half thereof. Then arose a third, and reigned as the other before, and appeared no more also. So it went with all the residue, one after another, as they everyone reigned, and then appeared no more. Then I beheld, and lo, in the process of time, the feathers that followed stood up upon the right side, that they may rule also. And some of them ruled, but within a while they appeared no more. For some of them were set up, but ruled not. After this I looked, and behold, the 12 feathers appeared no more, nor the 2 little feathers. And there was no more upon the eagle's body, but 3 heads that rested, and 6 little wings. Then saw I also that 2 little feathers divided themselves from the 6, and remained under the head that was upon the right side. For the 4 continued in their place. And I beheld, and lo, the feathers that were under the wing thought to set up themselves, and to have them rule. And I beheld, and lo, there was one set up, but surely it appeared no more. And the second was sooner away than the first. And I beheld, and lo, the 2 that remained thought also in themselves to reign. And when they thought, behold, there awakened one of the heads that were at rest, namely, it was that in the midst, for that was greater than the 2 other heads. And then I saw that the 2 other heads were joined with it. And behold, the head was turned with them that were with it, and did eat up the 2 feathers under the wing that would have reigned. But this head put the whole earth in fear, and bare rule in it over those that dwell upon the earth with much oppression. And it had the governance of the world more than all the wings that had been. And after this I beheld, and lo, the head that was in the midst suddenly appeared no more, like as the wings, but there remained two heads, which also in like sort ruled upon the earth, and over those that dwelt therein. And I beheld, and lo, the head upon the right side devoured it that was upon the left side. Then I heard a voice which said unto me, look before thee, and consider the thing that thou seest. And I beheld, and lo, as it were a roaring lion chased out of the wood. And I saw that he sent out a man's voice unto the eagle, and said, hear thou, I will talk with thee, and the highest shall say unto thee, art not thou it that remainest of the four beasts, whom I have made to ring in my word, that the end of their times might come through them? And the fourth came, and overcame all the beasts that were past, and had power over the world with great fearfulness, and over the whole compass of the earth with much wicked oppression. And so long time dwelt he upon the earth with deceit. For the earth hast thou not judged with truth, but thou hast afflicted the meek. Thou hast hurt the peaceable, thou hast loved liars, and destroyed the dwelling of them that brought forth fruits, and hast cast down the walls of such as did thee no harm. Therefore is thou wrong for dealings, come up unto the highest, and thou pride unto the mighty. The highest also had looked upon the proud times, and behold, they are ended, and his abominations are fulfilled. And therefore appear no more, thou eagle, nor thou horrible wings, nor thou wicked fellows, nor thou malicious heads, nor thou hurtful claws, nor all our vain body, that all the earth may be refreshed, and may return, being delivered from thy violence, and that she may hope for the judgment and mercy of him that had made her. Shalom. Second Esdras chapter 12. And it came to pass, while the lion spake these words unto the eagle, I saw, and behold, the head that remained and the four wings appeared no more. And two went into it, and set themselves up to reign, and their kingdom was small and full of uproar. And I saw, and behold, there appeared no more, and the whole body of the eagle was burnt, so that the earth was in great fear. Then awaked I out of this trouble and trance of my mind, and from great fear, and said into my spirit, lo, this hast thou done unto me, and that thou searchest out the ways of the highest. Lo, yet I am very weary in mind, and very weak in my spirit, and little strength is there in me, for the great fear wherewith I was affrighted this night. Therefore will I now beseech the highest, that he will comfort me unto the end. And I said, Lord, that bears rule, if I have found grace in thy sight, and if I am justified with thee before many others, and if my prayer indeed be come up before thy face, comfort me then, and show me, thou servant, the interpretation, the plain difference of this fearful vision, that thou mayest perfectly comfort my soul. For thou hast judged me worthy to show me the last times that he said unto me, this is the interpretation of the vision. The eagle whom thou sawest come up from the sea is the kingdom which was seen in the vision of thy brother Daniel, but it is not expounded unto him. Therefore I now declare it unto thee, behold, the days will come that there shall rise up a kingdom upon the earth, and it shall be filled above all the kingdoms that were before it. In the same shall 12 kings reign, one after another, whereof the second shall begin to reign, and shall have more time than any of the 12. And this do the 12 wings signify that thou sawest. And as for the voice which thou heardest speak, and that thou sawest not to go out from the head, but from the midst of the body thereof. This is the interpretation, that after the time of the kingdom there shall arise great striving, and it shall stand in peril of failing. Nevertheless it shall not then fall, but shall be restored again to its beginning. And whereas thou sawest 8 small under feathers sticking to her wings, this is the interpretation, that in him there shall arise 8 kings, whose times shall be but small, and their years swift, and 2 of them shall perish. The middle time approaching. 4 shall be kept until the end begin to approach. But 2 shall be kept until the end. And whereas thou sawest 3 heads resting, this is the interpretation. In his last days shall the Most High raise up 3 kingdoms and renew many things therein, and they shall have the dominion over the earth, and of those that dwell therein with much oppression above all those that were before them. Therefore are they called the heads of the eagle. For these are they that shall accomplish his wickedness, and that shall finish his last end. And whereas thou sawest that the great head appeared no more, it signified that one of them shall die upon his bed, and yet with pain. For the 2 that remain shall be slain with the sword. For the sword of the one shall devour the other, but at the last shall he fall through the sword himself. And whereas thou sawest 2 feathers under the wings passing over the head that is on the right side, it signified that these are they whom the highest have kept unto their end. This is the small kingdom, and full of trouble, as thou sawest. And the lion whom thou sawest rising up out of the wood, and roaring, and speaking to the eagle, and rebuking her for her unrighteousness with all the words which thou hast heard. This is the anointing which the highest has kept for them, and for their wickedness unto the end. He shall reprove them, and shall upbraid them with their cruelty. For he shall set them before him alive in judgment, and shall rebuke them, and correct them. The rest of my people shall he deliver with mercy, those that have been preserved upon my borders, and he shall make them joyful unto the coming of the day of judgment, whereof I have spoken unto thee from the beginning. This is the dream that thou sawest, and these are the interpretations. Thou only hast been meant to know this secret of the highest. Therefore, write all these things that thou hast seen in a book, and hide them, and teach them to the wise of the people, whose heart thou knowest may comprehend, and keep these secrets. But wait thou here, thou shalt yet 7 days more, that it may be showed thee whatsoever it pleases the highest to declare unto thee. And with that he went his way, and it came to pass, when all the people saw that the 7 days were past, and I not come again into the city, they gathered them all together, from the least unto the greatest, and came unto me and said, What have we offended thee? And what evil have we done against thee, that thou forsakest us and sittest here in this place? For of all the prophets, thou only art left of us, as a cluster of the vintage, and as a candle in the dark place, and as a haven or a ship preserved from the tempest. Are not the evils which are come to us sufficient, that thou shalt forsake us? How much better had it been for us that we also had been burnt in the midst of the Zion? For we are not better than they that died out, and they wept with a loud voice. Then answered I them and said, Be of good comfort, O Israel, be not heavy, thou house of Jacob, for the highest have you in remembrance, and the mighty have not forgotten you in temptation. As for me, I have not forsaken you, neither am I departed from you, but I am coming to this place to pray for the desolation of Zion, and that I may seek mercy from the low estate of your sanctuary. And now go your way home, every man, and after these days will I come into you. So the people went their way into the city, like as I commanded them. But I remained still in the field 7 days, as the angel commanded me, and did eat only in those days of the flowers of the field, and had my meat of the herbs. That's right. Second Esdras chapter 13. Bring it out. And it came to pass, after 7 days, I dreamed the dream by night, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea, that it moved all the ways thereof. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, and all things trembled that were seen under him. And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burnt that heard his voice, like as the earth failing when it filleth the fire. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of a number from the 4 winds of the heaven, to subdue the man that came out of the sea. Bring it out. But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain, and flew upon it. And I would have seen the region or place without the hill was graven, and I could not. And after this I beheld, lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were so afraid, and yet thus fight. And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he He neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war. But only I saw that he sent out of his mouth, as it had been a blast of fire. And out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. And they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest. It fell with violence upon the multitude, which was prepared to fight, and burnt them up every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude, nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. Afterward, I saw the same man come down from the mountain and call upon him another peaceable multitude. And there came much people unto him, whereof some were glad, some were very sorry, some of them were bound, and others some brought of them that were offered. Then was I sick through great fear, and I awake and said, Thou hast showed thy servant these wonders from the beginning, and hast counted me worthy that thou should have received my prayer. Show me now yet the interpretation of this dream, for I am convinced in my understanding. Woe unto them that should be left in those days, and much woe unto them that are not left behind. For they that were not left were in heaviness. Now understand out of things that are laid upon the latter days, which shall happen unto them, and to those that are left behind. Therefore they are come into great perils, and many necessities, like as these dreams declare. Yet it is easy for him that is in danger to come into these things, than to pass away as a cloud out of the world, and not to see the things that happen in the last days. He answered unto me and said, The interpretation of the vision shall I show thee, and I will open unto thee the thing that thou hast required, whereas thou hast spoken to them that are left behind. This is the interpretation. He shall endure that peril, in that time have kept himself, that they be fallen into danger of such as have works, and faith toward the Almighty. Notice therefore that they which be left behind are more blessed than they that be dead. This is the meaning of the vision. Whereas thou sawest a man coming up from the midst of the sea, the same is he whom God the highest hath kept a great season, which by his own self shall deliver his creature. He shall order them that are left behind. And whereas thou sawest that out of his mouth there came a blast of wind, fire, and storm, and that he had held neither sword nor any instrument of war, but that the rushing in of him destroyed the whole multitude that came to subdue him. This is the interpretation. Behold, the days come when the Most High will begin to deliver them that are upon the earth, and he shall come to the astonishment of them that dwell upon the earth. And one shall undertake to fight against another, one city against another, one place against another, one people against another, and one realm against another. And the time should be when these things shall come to pass, and the sign shall happen when I will show thee before. And then shall my son be declared, whom thou sawest as a man ascended. And when all people hear his voice, every man in their own land lead the battle that they have one against another. And an innumerable multitude shall be gathered together, as thou sawest them, willing to come and to overcome him by fighting. But he shall stand up upon the top of the Mount Zion, and Zion shall come and shall be shown to all men, being prepared and building, like as thou sawest the hill graven without hands. And this my son shall rebuke the wicked inventions of those nations, which for their wicked life are fallen into the tempest, and shall lay before them their evil thoughts, and the torments wherewith they shall begin to be tormented, which are like unto a flame. And he shall destroy them without labor by the law, which is like unto fire. And whereas thou sawest that he gathered another peaceable multitude unto him, those are the 10 tribes which are carried away prisoners out of their own land. In the time of Hosea the king, who Salmanasseh the king of Assyria led away captive, and he carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land. But they took this counsel among themselves, that they would lead the multitude of the heathen, and go forth into a farther country, where never mankind dwelt, that they might keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land. And they entered into Euphrates by the narrow patches of the river, for the Most High then showed signs for them, and held still the flood till they were passed over. But through the country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half, and the same rain is called Osiris. Then dwelt they there until the latter time. And now when they shall begin to come, the hides shall stay the springs of the stream again, that they may go through. Therefore sawest thou the multitude with peace. But those that be left behind of thy people are they that are found within my borders. Now when he destroyed destroyed the multitude of the nations that are gathered together. He shall defend his people that remain, and then shall he show them great wonders. Then said I, O Lord, that bears rule, show me this. Wherefore have I seen the man coming up from the midst of the sea? And he said unto me, like as thou canst neither seek out, nor know the things that are in the deep of the sea, even so can no man upon this earth see my son, or those that be with him. But in the daytime, this is the interpretation of the dream which thou sawest, and whereby thou only art here light. But thou hast forsaken thy own way, and applied thy diligence unto my law, and sought it. Thy life hast thou ordered in wisdom, and hast called understanding thy mother. And therefore have I showed thee the treasures of the highest. After other 3 days I will speak other things unto thee, and declare unto the mighty and wondrous things. Then went I forth into the field, giving praise and thanks greatly unto the Most High, because of his wonders which he did in time, and because he governed it the same. And such things are falling their season, and there I sat 3 days. Second Esdras, chapter 14. And it came to pass, upon the 3rd day, I sat under an oak, and behold, there came a voice out of a bush over against me, and said, Esdras, Esdras. And I said, Here am I, Lord. And I stood up on my feet. Then said he unto me, In the bush I did manifestly reveal myself unto Moses, and talked with him when my people served in Egypt. And I sent him, and led my people out of Egypt, and brought him up into the Mount of Sinai, where I held him by me for a long season, and told him many wondrous things, and showed him the secrets of the times and the end, and commanded him, saying, These words shall thou declare, and these shalt thou hide. And now I say unto thee, that thou lay up in thy heart the signs that I have showed, and the dreams that thou hast seen, and the interpretations which thou hast heard. But thou shalt be taken away from all, and from henceforth thou shalt remain with my son, and with such as be like thee, until the times be ended. For the world has lost its youth, and the times begin to wax old. For the world divided into 12 parts, and the 10 parts of it are gone already, and half a 10th part, and there remaineth that which are after the half of the 10 part. And therefore set thy house in order, and reprove thy people, call for such of them as be in trouble. And now renounce corruption, let go from thee mortal thoughts, cast away the burdens of man, put off now the weak nature, and set aside the thoughts that are most heavy under thee, and haste thee to flee from these times. For yet greater evil than those which thou hast seen happen shall be done hereafter. For look how much the world shall be weaker through age, so much the more shall evil increase upon them that dwell therein. For the truth is fled far away, and least is hard at hand. But now having the vision to come, which thou hast seen, then answered I before thee, and said, Behold, Lord, I will go as thou hast commanded me, and reprove the people which are present, but they that shall be born afterward, who shall admonish them? Thus the world is set in darkness, and they that dwell therein are without light. For the law is burned, therefore no man knoweth the things that are done of thee, or the works that shall begin. But if I have found grace before thee, send the Holy Ghost unto me, and I shall write all that have been done in the world since the beginning, which are written in thy law, that men may find the path, and that they which will live in the latter days may live. He answered me, saying, Go thy way, gather the people together, and say unto them, that they seek thee not for 40 days. But look thou, prepare thee many box trees, and take with thee Uriel, Debria, Salamia, Econis, Asiel, these 5 which are ready to write swiftly, and come hither. And thou shalt light a candle of understanding in thy heart, which shall not be put out till the things be performed which thou shalt begin to write. And when thou hast done some things shalt thou publish, and some things thou shalt shew secretly to the wise. Tomorrow, this hour shalt thou begin to write. Then went I forth as I was commanded, and gathered all the people together, and said, Hear these words, O Israel, our fathers at the beginning were strangers in Egypt, from which they were delivered, and received the law of life, which they kept not, which ye also have transgressed after them. Then was the land Zion, parted among you by lot. For your fathers and ye yourselves have done unrighteousness, and have not kept the ways which the highest commanded you. And for as much as he is a righteous judge, he took from you in time the thing that he had given you. And now you are here, and your brethren among you. Therefore, if so be that you will subdue your own understanding and reform your hearts, you should be kept alive, and after death you shall obtain mercy. For after death shall the judgment come, and we shall live again, and then shall the names of the righteous be manifest, and the works of the ungodly shall be declared. Let no man therefore come unto me now, nor seek after me these 40 days. So I took the 5 men as he commanded me, and we went into the field and remained there. And the next day, behold, a voice called me saying, Esdras, open thy mouth and drink that which I will give thee to drink. Then opened I my mouth, and behold, he reached me a full cup, which was full as it were with water, but the color of it was like fire. And I took it and drank, and when I had drunk of it, my heart uttered, and understanding and wisdom grew in my breast, for my spirit strengthened in my memory. And my mouth was open and shut no more. The highest gave me understanding unto the 5 men, and they wrote the wonderful visions of the night that were told, which they knew not. And they sat 40 days, and they wrote in the day, and at night they ate bread. As for me, I spake in that day, and I held not my tongue by night. In 40 days they wrote 240 books. And it came to pass, when the 40 days were fulfilled, that the highest spake, saying, the first that thou hast written, publish opus, right, that the worthy and unworthy may read it. But keep the 70 last, that thou mayest deliver them only to such as be wise among the people. For in them is the spring of understanding, the fountain of wisdom, and the stream of knowledge. And I did so. Shalom. Praise to the Most High. Second Esdras chapter 15. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord, and cause them to be written in paper. For they are faithful and true. Fear not the imaginations against thee. Let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee. For all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. For wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. Therefore said the Lord, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit, neither will I suffer them in those things in which they shall wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocents and righteous blood cried unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually. And therefore said the Lord, I will surely avenge them, and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them. Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt, but I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the lands thereof. Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment that God shall bring upon it. They that till the ground shall mourn, for their seed shall fail through the blasting and hail, and with the fearful constellation, woe to the world, and them that dwell therein. For the sword and their destruction draw nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there should be sedition among men, and invading one another. Then they shall not regard the kings nor princes, and the course of their action shall stand in their power. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, for because of their pride the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread, and for great tribulation. Behold, said God, I will gather together all the kings of the earth to reverence me, which are from the rising of the sun, from the south, from the east, for Libanus, to turn themselves one against another, and repay the things that they have done to them. Like as they yet do, this day unto my chosen, so will I also do, and recompense unto their bosom. Thus saith the Lord God, My right hand shall not spare the sinner, and my sword shall not cease over them that shed innocent blood upon the earth. The fire's gone forth from his wrath, and have consumed the foundations of the earth, and the sinners like the straw that is kindled. Woe to them that sin, and keep not my commandments, said the Lord. I will not spare them, go your way, ye children, from the power, defile not my sanctuary. For the Lord know of all them that sin against him, and therefore deliver he unto death and destruction. But now all the plagues come into the whole earth, and ye shall remain in them. For Yahweh shall not deliver you, because you have sinned against him. Behold, a horrible vision, and an appearance thereof from the east, where the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots, and the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon the earth, that all day which hear them may fear and tremble. Also the Carmanians, raging and roused, shall go forth as the wild boars of the wood, and with great power shall they come and join battle with them, and shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians. And then shall the dragons have the upper hand, remembering their nature, and that they shall turn themselves, conspiring together in great power to persecute them. Then these shall be troubled, and keep silence through their power, and shall flee. And from the land of the Assyria shall the enemy besiege them, and consume some of them. And in their hope shall be fear and dread, strife among their kings. Behold, clouds from the east, and from the north unto the south. And they are very horrible to look upon, full of wrath and storm. They shall smite one upon another, and they shall smite down a great multitude of stars upon the earth, even their own star. And blood shall be from the sword unto the belly, and dung of men unto the camel's heart. And there should be a great fearfulness and trembling upon the earth. And they that see the wrath shall be afraid, and trembling shall come upon them. And then shall there come great storms from the south, from the north, and another part from the west. And strong winds shall arise from the east, and shall open it. And the cloud which he raised up in wrath, and the star stirred up, caused fear toward the east and west wind, shall be destroyed. The great and mighty cloud shall be lifted up full of wrath, and the star, and they that make all the earth afraid, and them that dwell therein, and they shall pour out over every high and intimate place a horrible star, fire and hail, flying swords, and many waters, that all fields may be full, and all rivers with the abundance of great waters. And they shall break down the cities and walls, mountains and hills, trees of the wood, and grass of the meadows, and the corn. And they shall go steadfastly unto Babylon, and make her afraid. Then shall come to her, and besiege her, the star, and all the wrath shall thou pour out upon her. Then shall the dust and smoke go out unto the heaven, and all that be about her shall bewail her, and they that be remain under her shall do service unto them that have put in her filth. And thou, Asian, that are partakers of the hope of Babylon, that are of the glory of the person, woe unto thee, thou wretch, because thou hast made thyself like unto her, and hast decked thy daughters in whoredom, that they might please and glory in the lovers, which thou have already desired to commit whoredom with thee. Thou hast followed her that is hated in all her works and inventions. Therefore said God, I will send plagues upon thee, widowhood, poverty, famine, sword, pestilence, to waste thy house, and destruction and death. And the glory of thy power shall be dried up as a flower, when the heat shall arise that is sent over thee. Thou shalt be weak as a poor woman with stripes, and as one chastened with wounds, so that the mighty and the lover shall not be able to receive thee. Would I, with jealousy, have so proceeded against thee, said the Lord, that thou hadst not always slain my chosen, exalting the stroke of thy hands, and saying over their dead, when thou wast drunken, set forth the beauty of thy countenance. The reward of thy whoredom shall be in thy bosom, therefore shalt thou receive recompense, like as thou hast done unto my chosen, said the Lord. Even so shall God do unto thee, and shall deliver thee into mistress. Thy children shall die of hunger, and thou shalt fall through the sword. Thy city shall be broken down, and all thine shall perish with the sword in the field. They that be in the mountain shall die of hunger, and eat their own flesh, and drink their own blood, for very hunger of bread, and thirst of water. Thou was unhappy, shall come through the sea, and receive plagues again. And in the patches they shall rush on the idol city, and shall destroy some portion of thy land, and consume part of thy glory, and shall return to Babylon that was destroyed. And thou shalt be cast down by them as stubble, and they shall be unto thee as fire, and shall consume thee, and thy cities, thy land, and thy mountains, all thy woods, and thy fruitful trees shall be burnt up with fire. Thy children, they shall carry away captive, and look what thou hast, that they shall spoil it, and mar the beauty of the face. Second Esdras, chapter 16. Bring it out. Woe be unto thee, Babylon and Asia. Woe be unto thee, Egypt and Syria. Gird up yourselves with cloths and sack and hair, and bewail your children and be sorry, for your destruction is at hand. A sword is sent unto you, and who may turn it back? A fire set among you, and who may quench? Bring it out. Plagues are sent unto you, and what is he that may drive them away? May any man drive away a hungry lion in the woods, or may anyone point the fire and stop when it had begun to burn? May one turn again the arrow that is shot of a strong archer. The mighty Lord sendeth the plagues, and who is he that can drive them away? A fire should go forth from his wrath, and who is he they may quench it? He should cast lightning, and who should not fear? He should thunder, and who should not be afraid? The Lord should threaten, and who should not be utterly beaten to powder at his presence? The earth quaking, and the foundation thereof. The sea ariseth up with the waves from the deep, and the waves of it are trouble, and the fishes thereof also before the Lord, and before the glory of his power. For strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow, his arrows that he shoot are sharp, and shall not miss when they begin to shoot into the ends of the world. Behold, the plagues are sent, and shall not return again until they have come upon the earth. The fire is kindled, and shall not be put out till it consume the foundation of the earth. Like as an arrow which is shot of a mighty archer, returning not backward. Even so the plagues that shall be sent upon the earth shall not return again. Woe is me, woe is me. Who will deliver me in those days? Bring it out. The beginning of sorrows are great mourning, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars and the power shall stand in fear, the beginning of evil. What shall I do when I see evil that shall come? Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent and scourged. For amendment, for all these things, they should not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. Behold, vegetables shall be good so cheap upon the earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case, and even they shall evils grow up on the earth. Sword, famine, and great confusion for many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy, and the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them. For the earth shall be wasted, and the city shall be cast down. There shall be no man left to till the earth and to sow it. The tree shall give fruit, and who shall gather them? The grapes shall ripen, who shall thread them? For all places shall be desolate of men, so that one man shall desire to see another, and to hear his voice. For of a city there should be 10 left, and 2 of the field, which shall hide themselves in the thick groves and in the clefts of the rocks. And as an orchard of olives upon every tree, there are left 3 or 4 olives, or as when the vineyard is gathered, there are some left clusters of them that diligently seek through the vineyard. Even so in those days there should be 3 or 4 left by them that search their houses with the sword, and the earth shall be laid waste, and the fields thereof shall wax old, and her ways and all her paths shall grow full of thorns, because no man should travel there through. The virgin shall mourn, having no bridegrooms. The woman shall mourn, having no husband. That daughter shall mourn, having no help. Bring it out. In the wars shall their bridegrooms be destroyed, and the husbands shall perish of famine. Hear now these things and understand them, ye servants of the Lord. Behold, the word of the Lord receive it. Believe not the gods of whom the Lord spake. Behold, the plagues draw not and are not slack. And when the woman with child in the 9th month bringeth forth her son, within 2 or 3 hours of her birth, great pains compass a womb. Which pains when the child cometh forth, they slack not a moment. Even so shall not the plagues be slack to come up on the earth, and the world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come up on it on every side. O my people, hear my word. Make you ready to the battle, and in those evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth. He that selleth, let him be as he that fleeteth away, and he that buy as one that would lose. He that occupy merchandise, that he that have no profit buy, and he that buildeth as he that shall not dwell therein. He that soweth as if he should not reap, so also he that planteth the vineyard as he that shall not gather the grapes. They that marry as they that shall get no children, and they that marry not as the widowers. And therefore they that labor in vain. For strangers shall reap their fruits and spoil their goods, overthrow their houses and take their children captive. For in the captivity and famine shall they get children. And they that occupy their merchandise with robbery. The more they deck their cities, their hounds, their possessions, and their own person, the more will I be angry with them for their sins, said the Lord. Like as a whore, envy of the right, honest and virtuous woman, so shall righteousness hate iniquity when she decketh herself, and shall accuse her to her face. And when he cometh, that shall defend him, that diligently seeketh out every sin upon the earth. And therefore, be you not like thereunto, nor to the works thereof. Forget a little, and an iniquity shall be taken away out of the earth, and righteousness shall reign among you. Let not the sinner say that he have not sinned, for God shall burn coals of fire upon his head. Which say before the Lord God and his glory, I have not sinned. Behold, the Lord knoweth all the works of men, their imagination, their thoughts, and their hearts. Which spake but the word, let the earth be made, and it was made. Let the heaven be made, and it was created. And his words were the stars made, and he knoweth the number of them. He searches the deep and the treasures thereof. He has measured the sea and what it containeth. He has shut the sea in the midst of the waters, and with his word hath he hanged the earth upon the waters. He spread it out the heavens like a vault upon the waters. Have he found it in the desert? Have he made springs of water and pools upon the tops of the mountains, that the floods might pour down from high rocks to the water of the earth? He made man and put his heart in the midst of the body, and gave him breath, life, and understanding, yea, and the spirit of Almighty God. He made all things, and searcheth out all hidden things in the secrets of the earth. Surely he knoweth your inventions, and what you think in your heart, even them that sin, and will hide their sin. Therefore hath the Lord exactly searched out all your works, and he will put you all to shame. And when your sins are brought forth, you should be ashamed before men, and your own sins should be your accusers in that day. What will you do? Or how will you hide your sin before God and his angels? For behold, Yahweh himself is the judge. Fear him, leave off from your sins, and forget your iniquities. The meddle no more with them forever. So shall Yahweh lead you forth and deliver you from all trouble. For behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you, and they shall take away certain of you, and feed you, being idle, with things offered unto idols. And they that had consent unto them shall be had in derision and reproach, and trodden underfoot. For there should be in every place, and in the next cities, a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. They should be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. For they shall waste and take away their goods, and cast out their houses. Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as the gold in the fire. Here, O ye my beloved, said the Lord, behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same. Be ye not afraid, neither doubt, for Yahweh is your guide, and the God of them who keep my commandments and precepts, said the Lord God. Let not your sins weigh you down, and let not your iniquities lift up themselves. Woe be unto them that are bound with their sins, and covered with their iniquities, like as a field is covered over the bushes, and the path thereof covered with thorns, that no man may travel through. It is left undressed, and is cast into the fire, to be consumed therewith. Shalom.